did campus. Yeah, it was, well, as an instructor, I wasn't
say like a host
one
or
of the
something.
children.
Yeah.
I should have been one of the children.
Next time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always like so endearing.
I think it's a good way to get going. You know what I mean? Like for kids that have nothing going on. Did you guys just cut out?
Nope.
Sweet. All right, it's just my headphones. All right, you guys ready to knock into this thing?
Let's do it.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Jameson on the Rocks podcast. Today I have two special guests with me. Monsoon, how are you guys doing?
Great.
So good.
Yes, thank y'all for
Yes.
coming in. I'm glad y'all could be here.
Thank you for having us.
Anytime. Oh, that was clean. Okay. Okay, y'all are in unison. Well, yeah, tell me a little bit about you guys, like individually. Perfect. Got the Reeboks. What are they?
These are Adidas Puiks.
Adidas.
They're these skate shoes that I love. The off-white. His are cleaner than mine.
Slightly.
But yeah,
kinda
these
like
are
a
good
cream.
shoes.
Yeah,
Yeah, like a
nice.
cream
They
color.
look vintage. Are they?
Well, they are now.
Yeah, they're not, but they kind of have that look. I like your shoes. I really
Yeah,
like
these are-
those.
Yeah.
They
and-
tear a lot though. Like when you go like that. Like look at
Oh,
mine tearing. But these are
darn.
old and they're kind of beat. But you know, I'd suggest them. They're good. They're good.
They're
looking,
good
I think.
shoes. You wear them a
Yeah,
lot.
they've been
Yeah.
used. You know, they're consistent. But yeah, let's kind of talk about you guys. First off, tell the camera you guys' names and ages for just consistency's sake.
I'm Joey. I'm 26 years young.
Absolutely.
I'm Sienna Chandler. I'm 18. I can't drink yet.
Not yet.
One day.
One day, a couple years, you come back. We can split a beverage on here.
Yes.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming in. You guys have been really tearing it up out there. You guys have been making music for a while. I noticed there's a big gap in like the discography. What's up with that? Like, when did you guys start this whole thing?
We started when we were 16, so
2 years ago?
2 years ago. We've been playing together for 10 years, and yes,
Okay.
there is a big gap.
Yeah.
Takes a long time to make a record.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It does, yeah. It takes
Yeah.
a while, and our first record took a couple years. Like it was our high school record for all intents and purposes, and then after that, you know, we had played a good number of shows, and then we kind of split off and did our own things for a little bit, some lifing, some
Side project stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The side quest.
side quest. We did some. I played house for a little bit,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
he did the same. And then at some point, we were like, let's play rock and roll again. Let's get the band back together. We were like,
do it.
we were 19 at that point. Let's
Yeah.
get the band back together.
Back together.
So
Why
then
did we
it
hang
took
it
a long
up?
time to build Ghost Party.
Well, that's
And here we are.
awesome. Which is the latest record, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, awesome. I gave it. I had to give you guys a full shuffle today to really get ready for this. You know, and I listened to the old ones too. I like the old records as well.
Thank you.
We're gonna talk about those in a minute. I wanna make sure we get the origin story first though. So like, how did you guys meet? I assume went to the same high school, that kind of stuff. When was there like a conversation of like, hey, let's start a band, let's be a duo or a trio, whichever it is.
You met my mom.
I was working at Nucci Space during the
Okay.
whole Camp Amped everything, and I would go and like wrap cables and
Yeah.
change drum heads and stuff. And Sienna was in camp during this session that I was working. But we never saw each other, but I would hang out with her mom in the lobby when she was there waiting to pick her up.
Gotcha.
And me and her mom would like just talk about whatever. And so that's who I knew first for like a year. I knew
Really?
your mom like a year before I'd ever met you. And then one day I got a Facebook message from Sienna, and I was like, isn't that Lee Ellen's daughter? Isn't she the one that from Camp Amped? Asking essentially, hey, my drummer just dropped off of this show that's in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You're a drummer, right? Can you play a show in 2 weeks? It's like, yeah, sure. I don't have anything going on. Let's give this a shot.
I never formally met him.
Yeah. So you're just like
Just
shot in the
knew-
dark. Like I really need a drummer
Yeah.
right now. Yeah.
And I knew that my mom had nice things to say about you and that you made good coffee.
That's all you need to know right there. That's it.
like
Didn't even know about the drumming yet, did you? You just taking a
No.
shot?
Yeah, and then he was great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, it seems like it worked out nicely for you guys 10 years later or whatever.
Yeah,
That's great.
the rest was history.
Yeah, and like, but up to that, were you already Monsoon? Was that already a thing name-wise? Or like, you know, you're already playing shows if you had a different drummer, correct?
I had a drummer for maybe a week. I had
Okay, gotcha.
someone asked me to play a show, asked me if I was in a band, and I lied, and I said I was.
That's bold.
And so I know I was a bold young one, but I had to scramble and find a band, and so I played with these two other kids. We had like one band practice, and then like a week away from the show, they said, "Oh, we can't do it."
Yeah.
So it wasn't even really formally a band, and I still really wanted to make the show happen because
Yeah.
when you're young and you get offered a show, it's like, "What? I'm gonna be a rock star?
Yeah.
Yes!" And so I had to like make that happen, and that's when I got Joey. So in that time, it was a week away
Yeah.
from the
Oh,
show.
yeah. I
And
think
we
we
made it
practiced
happen.
like twice.
We practiced 2 times.
Legendary.
Yes.
It
I
was
love
at
that.
the Caledonia.
Oh,
So-
gone but not forgotten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, forgotten.
R.I.P.
Yeah, how was it? Was it a good show?
It's great. I
Yeah.
mean, for like my first non-camp show, it was really cool because grown-ups were there,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
wasn't crowded with parents or little
Yeah.
brothers and sisters.
Like
it
a
was
real
like a
rock
real
gig.
There was beer.
show. There was beer there.
It
was
smells like beer there.
It was funny. I remember like you telling me, you can get orange juice at the bar, right? I was like, what? Like, yeah, they make cocktails with that stuff. So for a long time, we would order
Orange juice.
Orange
Yeah,
juice.
'cause
Classic.
they have it on their little spray thing.
Yeah,
you know, they
yeah.
Just give you some OJ. Here you go, kid.
Yeah.
Nothing gets the set going like a good tall glass of some pulp orange juice.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. You guys have a great origin story then.
Yeah.
And at this time, so you guys played as a duo?
We had
another guy
we
or
had
two?
a bass player
Uh-huh.
at that point that we played with for a little bit. We've always kind of had like a rotating act of bass players because it at its core it is me and him, and especially with Ghost Party, me and him wrote this record together and produced it and did everything. So we've been just kind of like getting live bass players in the mix.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean at that time we had played a couple shows and we're just working at that and
Well, that's
doing-
awesome. What was it? Was that purposeful? Was it like, all right, we don't want to get too many people in this band, or was it like, oh, this is us, or is it like, you know what I mean?
Now
Because most bands like, all right, let's get as many people as we can, or 5 people, or whatever.
Yeah.
But,
I think now at this juncture it's definitely more purposeful than it was
Gotcha.
then. I think we just had bass player treble in the beginning and we're like,
Yeah.
well, who's gonna be our third member? Where now it's just like, okay, we are very much a 2-piece, and
Yeah.
for live shows we'll get a bass player.
Yeah, that's
and,
awesome.
But yeah, I mean, I'm very grateful for
I think it's-
anyone
I think
that's
it's cool.
down to play with
Yeah.
us.
I'm super into the duo trio thing, so that's great. That's very
Yeah.
exciting. Yeah, it's different, it's something good to watch. And you'll play guitar sometimes a lot, right? Most of the time, or all the time?
All the time.
All the time.
Perpetually.
All the time guitar.
Yeah. And do you play keys any, or am I mistaken on that? I feel like you played keys a song one time I saw you guys.
No, I never played.
only seen a
I
few.
wish I knew how to play piano. That would be such a skill.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah, to
Yeah.
have a keys guy would be cool. But all right. So you start playing shows. Was there like a big goal in mind? Was it like, all right, we want to play more than Camp Amped in Caledonia, or was it like, we just want to play, we want to do Athfest? Like, what's the motive here? You know what I mean?
Oh man, that's
curious.
a good. I feel like Athfest. Yeah, that I remember when we first got offered that. I was like, what?
Yeah.
We're famous.
This is our
That's
big break.
basically SNL.
Yeah.
Like, we were like super stoked about it.
It's
We got like an outside show too, and I
Yeah.
think it was the kids stage. I didn't
Gotcha.
care.
Yeah.
I was just like, yes.
This is it. This is the big break.
The kids stage gets like
great.
200 people.
Yeah,
It's
it's
really
packed out
great.
there. Yeah.
But yeah, it was mainly to like, for me at least, I loved playing shows because when you're, a teenager and when you're doing camp, it's like you get a show like once a year.
Yeah, you get
So-
one and you work for it
And you
a couple
work
weeks
for
or
it,
months or
yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
And, at that point we were getting offers. Every time someone saw us, we would get offered to play another show. And I was just like, it was
Yo.
blowing up to the point where we had to say no. And I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, we have to. And that's when I think I knew we were getting somewhere was
Yeah.
when we had to decline offers.
That's
and,
cool. That's cool.
But
Stuff
yeah.
like that. It's amazing you remember stuff like that. I can remember the first decline. I can remember the first payments too. It's like, wow,
Yeah.
okay, this is weird.
Oh yeah, when we
Yeah.
got paid $17 at Flickr.
Oh, yeah.
Iconic.
What?
That's
This
like a
is-
rite of passage, getting paid 17 at
Uh-huh.
Flickr. That's iconic. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Love
so
that.
great. But yeah, at the time the goal for me was just shows, and then
Yeah.
we, built up more songs, and then we're
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, well, I guess we got to make a record now. That's what
Yeah.
people do, and we made the Ride a Roller record, and
I'm a big fan of that one. I like the title track. It's very catchy. I'm a
Thank
fan of that
you.
one. Nice. It makes me think of the B-52s. Is there any influence of that in there or no?
I love the B-52s.
I was about to say, I kind of feel like I
love
felt
them.
that. I don't know if it was purposeful or not. But it's cool.
Especially at that time. Like,
Yeah.
I was very shy about singing,
Yeah.
and
It doesn't sound like it. Sounds like you were just owning that shit.
Thank
Like you're just
you.
running it.
I listened to a lot of Cindy Wilson and Kate. I don't know her last name, but they were like who I would sing along with in the car and try to train my voice to be like them. I thought they were a fantastic band.
They are, yes, absolutely. I like that though. It's very like I noticed about the title track at least. It was like it's like there's like a ton of melodies. Like you keep going on the story. At least to me, it wasn't like very first chorus. Does that make sense? Would you agree or maybe?
We're kind of we take a backwards route to structures for sure.
I like
mainly
that.
because
cool.
At the time I didn't know how to write songs, and so it was just all over the place.
Structure what?
Yeah,
but
it's very chaotic. It feels cool. Like I like there's like a radio effect at one point on your vocal. Do you know what I'm talking about? Isn't that one? Yeah, I think so. I was like, that's very tasteful. Yeah. So when do you guys make that record? What year is that?
We made that record. We were in the process of recording it 2013 and 2014, and then we released it in 2015. You know, not really knowing or understanding the process of it. I feel like now with Ghost Party, I've learned how to. This is an album campaign.
Yeah, you guys had a good promo run for that. I enjoyed that.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a learning curve. Because I had no idea how to do it, and I did a lot of studying, and I feel like it did it just. But yeah, at that time we put out Riderola in late 2014, and then in January 2015 we're like, here it is, here's the record, and
album.
then lucky for me, I just kind of happened to. I was like, I'm gonna try and book a tour, and I did that successfully in juncture with the Riderola album. So it had a nice little
run,
here it is press package, but not much other than that. I just kind of like dropped it like a.
Well, that's how you kind of learn. It got you to Ghost Party being so good because like I'd already followed you guys by that point, and like you guys had like the whole like brand down, like the look, like was that the earrings one? There's one where you guys had earrings. Was that a single?
Yeah,
it's a single, right? You know what I'm talking about? The magnet, isn't it a magnet or something?
Oh yeah.
But like it was like everything was like on brand, and like everything about it was like, oh, this is a good run right here. And then you had the tour, right after it.
After Ghost Party?
Yeah, or was there a little break?
We're continually touring.
Yeah,
we're
I love that.
kind of in the process. I did like a practice tour in a way, and also I have a 9-to-5 job right now.
That makes it tough,
and it makes it so tough. So I'm, whatever days my boss lets me leave work. I'm like, all right, Friday to Sunday, we're gonna go far north as we can, and this will be our practice for when we're gone for 2 weeks or for 3 weeks. And so now we're kind of finished with our spring tour, and we've hit southeast places. The farthest north we went was Washington D.C.
That's
and then
awesome.
This summer we're going to New York 3 times.
3 times?
Oh yeah,
back and forths, or like you're hitting 3 places up there?
Well, I'm trying to make it right now. 2 weeks is kind of the pinnacle.
That's
but
awesome.
then we just got asked to kind of stay in New York because there's another show. It's a little nuts. So we might be gone for a month.
Where did you guys play in DC this past tour?
DC 9.
Really, I've heard of that. That's a nice place, right?
Place
it was
is cool.
Fun.
Yeah,
interesting.
It's
Where did you guys? So are you guys like? Is it mainly weekend stuff, or you try to make it like 2-week runs?
Well, right now, like with our jobs, it's been just weekend runs.
Yeah, like Thursday through Sunday, if you can pull it off.
Yeah,
exactly. If we can pull it off, sometimes it's Friday to Saturday. Whatever we can get. But I've pretty continuously like kept us booked from March to May. This is our first weekend off, but July and in June is our first time being like gone. Yeah. For 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, I love that. I think the weekend tour is efficient. We do a lot of that, because like sometimes shows on Mondays and Tuesdays aren't the most efficient anyways, if we're pulling the crowd. So it's like, dude, Thursday through Sunday works for me, And I've been paying attention. You guys, one I noticed that was really cool because I was jealous when I saw this when it was, I feel like it was Boone, North Carolina, or not. Was it Boone? Did you guys do Boone?
Yeah,
with Nordista Freeze, right?
Yeah.
I saw that. I was like, I've always wanted to go to Boone. There's like a cool little scene there. I was
Boone's
like, damn,
crazy.
that's cool. Yeah.
Boone is wild.
Was it fun? Did y'all do a house party or a venue?
It was a venue, but it was like a DIY type of venue. Like the place shuts down. It's like a burrito bar.
It's a burrito joint.
What?
And then the staff leaves, and you bring in a bunch of speakers, and so it's very cool. It's a very, very cool vibe. And the first time we played the show with Nordista Freeze, actually, it was 9 degrees outside, and I opened my phone. I left it in the car, and I opened my phone, and I had a message that was like, "Your phone is too cold to operate, shutting down." So I didn't know that was a thing that your phone could get too cold.
Yeah, so it's always too hot in Georgia. You don't see much of that too cold.
But in that 9-degree with snow everywhere, Northeast of Freeze did the thing where he
takes his pants off and runs around,
runs out in the street, and
he's crazy, man.
He threw up on stage, not at that one, but at another one.
I think I've seen the picture of this. There's like a picture of him, like a very highly detailed picture of him throwing up. I'm like, that's awesome. Yeah. Was it cool playing with him? It was very fun.
Oh, I love him. I love his whole band. They are such angels and good at what they do.
So good.
And really, really seasoned musicians.
Talk about some guys that tour, man. I see their tour schedules and I'm like, good Lord, there's no going home. There's nothing off. I love that. Yeah.
They have crazy ideas too. He was telling me about how he wants to do 50 states in 50 days.
Oh man. That's crazy.
How are you going to do Hawaii? He's like, oh man, we're just going to play and then fly to Hawaii. I was like, if anyone can do it, it's you.
Yeah, he could pull that off, I think, if he really put his mind to it. I love that. Who's some other bands you guys have played with on the road that you've enjoyed? Just kind of curious.
Psychic Dungeon is our dream band.
Psychic Dungeon?
Yeah, you should check them out.
Chattanooga, Tennessee.
They are seriously mysterious. They don't have anything online, so you might not find any of their music, but they're just one of those bands you can see on a fluke and they blow your mind. They're so good. We got them to play our album release with us.
Oh, really? At 40 Watt Club? Mm-hmm. Nice. How was that? The famous 40 Watt Club.
So much fun.
Great. Yeah. The night before, they had this, I think, runway fashion drag thing. Yeah. And I got there for load in and they still had out this catwalk.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're putting this away. I was like, no, leave it. Can you leave it? So they left this catwalk
out the front of the middle?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They had a catwalk?
They had a catwalk that they made. And so for the show, it was totally spontaneous, but I had like this little thing I could run around
That's
on.
so sick. I love that. That's awesome. Yeah, I wish they'd leave that out. That's cool. They usually putting room in there, it would work,
Yeah, it worked really well, yeah.
Awesome, yeah. And there was another band on the bill, was it Fishbug or something?
Fishbug.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great bill. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
And you guys just played the full record?
Played the full record. Yeah. Whole thing front to back.
And then some. I think we added a couple Monsoons, a couple Riderola songs.
Nice. So what was the process like on picking where you wanted to go? Obviously there's some key locations like DC and New York, is kind of the spots everybody wants to go. Or what makes you guys want to go to Boone and Chattanooga and wherever else you've been? Just we want to play, or?
I have a strategy.
Please tell me. I love this stuff.
My strategy is sort of to hit the smaller towns around the bigger cities.
Okay.
And this could be the worst strategy in the world, but I wanted to see if I could kind of hit these smaller markets before we go to the bigger cities, before this summer tour, in hopes that we can, I guess, garner around the cities, and then once we go to the bigger cities, we'll already kind of have
a buzz.
A small buzz circulating it.
That's awesome.
And
we
have
about that.
We've mixed in some bigger cities with smaller cities, and it seemed to be really effective.
Yeah. Which bigger cities you done? Maybe Nashville or Atlanta and stuff like that.
We have done Nashville.
Lots of Atlanta shows.
Yeah, lots of
Atlanta shows. I guess for the. Oh gosh, now I'm blanking. Wait, we've done the Triangle, the Chapel Hill, Durham, Raleigh area,
North Carolina,
so all
trio.
of those, and then outside of those towns, like Boone, we've done a little bit outside of it, and it creates this little buzz across. Those places are 3 hours apart, but some of the people from Boone drove to the Triangle shows, the Chapel Hill.
The Triangle, I like that.
And then there's the Greenville, Spartanburg. Greer.
Thing. If you hit all of those three, you create this little cluster, this little storm cloud of just
I like that.
We're really good here. We have a really good draw here.
Yeah.
And
people will drive. They'll drive 45 minutes, an hour to come see you. So if you get that area, if you get that small enough area, you'll draw a crowd, which is nice. But if it's in the city, you're kind of, unless you have a huge draw, I feel like the theory is no one wants to drive into Atlanta, but
gotcha.
You're playing in Clemson. That's easy to get into, easy to get out of.
I'm thinking of that map on Snapchat, the world view.
Yeah.
And you zoom in and there's just red when there's lots of people.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like that. We can hit, it's like a game of Risk, put checkpoints all around the surrounding city. And then finally when you get to the city, it'll just sort of be,
I love that.
Have some cushion for when you get there.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I've never thought about it like that, but that's great. So opposed to as opposed to like going and just doing the main city a lot. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah.
Which instead you can do it around.
do
I think that's
around
cool.
it.
Yeah, that's very
But
cool.
then this summer, of course, we are going to do all of
The
We're
big
doing
ones.
New York City. We're doing Baltimore.
Oh, that's awesome.
What else are we
Brooklyn.
doing?
Brooklyn, sweet.
We're doing Richmond is
Uh-huh.
a kind
Virginia?
of a big one.
Yeah.
Richmond, Virginia.
Where are you guys doing in Richmond? Just curious.
The Camel.
The Camel. I've heard of that. I've
Yeah,
heard of
that
that.
place
That's
is
cool.
cool.
That's cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I've wanted to do that run that like North Carolina, Virginia, DC. You can come, or New York if you want to, and come back kind of thing.
Yeah.
I've been working on that for a while, so love to see y'all. And you guys tour a lot. Like that's a good amount of cities. Like I think that to me at least is like how I kind of rank in my head. Like bands in Athens is like who tours the most. At least to me, it's like because like you could be a really big fish here and never tour, and like that's not as impressive as like going out, you know. So like to see you guys going out a lot is awesome. Yeah, I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's
great.
hard. It's really
Yeah,
hard because,
it
you know,
is.
half the time, more than half the time,
Yeah.
you don't get written back. Or,
Uh-huh.
you know, before you reach out to the venue, you have to have bands that are
Yeah.
going to play with you because the venue doesn't want a
Yes.
band from nowhere.
They
You know,
can't
they
sell
want,
any tickets. Yeah,
They can't sell any tickets,
and then
but
you
then
don't know any bands in that town. It's
You don't
like,
know
I don't
any
know any
bands.
bands in Richmond. You know what I mean? So it's like,
totally. You
do
reach
you-
out to the bands and it's like, what venue are you playing? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying
Yeah.
to. It's been a like crazy learning curve learning
And
how
you
to
do
do
all
it
the booking?
yourself. I do it on
yeah.
myself.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
it's-
awesome.
It's been tough to learn how to do it.
It's a lot
but-
of emails, isn't it?
Oh my god, it's so many emails. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm doing more emailing than
Yeah.
I am doing more emailing than
Than
I
playing?
am doing playing.
It's
Yeah.
weird. It's weird. Yeah, I feel the
Mhm.
exact same. I do all the booking for our band. And it was like, people that don't do this will never understand like how much this actually is. You know,
Yeah.
it's work. It really
It
is. It
makes
really
sense
is. Yeah.
why there's a whole job for it. You know,
Yeah,
on top
yeah.
of being the musician, there's like you have to have a booking
Yeah.
agent.
Have
which
you
those are
guys
hard
thought
to
about
find.
getting one? Any interest in getting
I would
one?
love a booking agent. Where do you find them?
That's what I'm
I've
saying.
emailed them and I
Yeah.
get no response,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh well, they gotta see that you know how to tour first.
Yeah.
All right, I'll learn how to do it myself, and then maybe someone will reach out to me.
Yeah. 3 years later.
Oh yeah, totally.
That's like exactly how I feel because everybody's like, man, you need to start looking at getting a booking agent. I was like, I don't think you look into that. Like they have to look into you.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
like if it was simple as just like I will
Yeah.
pay, I would gladly
to, yeah.
pay someone to do this for me
Mhm.
because there's like no time to do
Yeah.
all this because it's a lot of research. It's a lot of like, okay, who's gonna fit well with our
Yeah.
band? But yeah, it's
It's a
just,
lot of little details
like,
like
you gotta
load-ins and details
yeah.
and guarantees
Uh-huh.
and stuff. It's a lot of work. So I appreciate that.
Parking.
Yeah, parking's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Parking's one that really doesn't become very important till you're close by. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I should look
Yeah.
into this. You know?
Yeah.
That with the DC show we just played, we got there and was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, just like put your hazards on and
Yeah.
unload.
cars
That's
are
wild.
flying
And
by.
then what? Then where?
Yeah.
And I wound up having to park like a mile away, and we had to make like 6 trips to the car.
No way.
For some, like, oh, I forgot my whatever. Oh, we
Yeah,
gotta
my
go get this.
capo.
So we were
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
all
Oh
up
my
and down
gosh.
and up and down. And
That's
So-
crazy. Yes. And do you guys have a U-Haul or no? Well, you guys don't need it because you're 2-piece, right?
Yeah.
We play with a bass player, but no,
Van or something.
we have a van,
Uh-huh.
and then we got a bigger van,
Okay.
and then we drove to Virginia, broke down.
Oh,
I'll let you tell the
no,
story.
no.
yeah, we were on the way to Virginia, and it broke down in
Charlotte, outside of Charlotte.
Ooh.
Charlotte,
Yeah.
and then we like got an Uber to AutoZone and bought the part that I
Mhm.
needed to do the thing, and we put it back on and cranked it up, and it worked.
Yeah.
And then it got us all the way up to Virginia, and then all the way back down past Charlotte, where we broke down the first
Well,
time.
no, it broke down the second time in Reedsville, which is northern North Carolina.
That's
We were
right.
in bumfuck North
Y'all are
Carolina.
out there?
Middle
We-
of
in
nowhere.
nowhere.
Oh no.
And all of a sudden, we're just going, and then the gas pedal just does nothing. The fuel pump
On
just
the highway, like
died.
on the interstate.
I'm like, why am I now going 40? What's going on? Oh, the fuel pump.
we're
just
breaking
died.
down.
So luckily, had enough momentum to get off on an exit.
Uh-huh.
You know, that whole thing got towed and
Yeah.
spent hours and hours and hours in Reedsville, North Carolina, trying
Stressed
to.
out.
I got the gas tank down.
Okay.
The bad part, so the fuel pump died, and so we were
Yeah.
trying to replace the fuel pump. The bad part is we literally just filled up, and it's got a 35-gallon tank.
No.
So this thing is slap full, 35 gallons of gas. This gas tank weighs 400 pounds, but got it down,
Uh-huh.
and then the sun went down, and the AutoZone closed, and everyone
AutoZone,
left.
the clerk came out right as the sun is going down, and he's like, "Do y'all carry?" And I was like, "Carry what? Gun?" And I was like, "No."
This area's
Why
pretty
should-
rough at night.
We're like, "Oh shit!" And the only thing like around the area was this McDonald's. So
Yeah.
as the sun went down, we just like hung out in this McDonald's, which we ended up getting
a
kicked
booth?
out of. Yeah, because they were closing, and then
Yeah.
my mom had to come get us from Georgia, and it was
That's
just
wild.
bless my mom. I love her so
Seriously,
much.
bless your mom.
So clutch, so clutch.
Drove
I think
for
the
10
van
hours.
breaking down is a rite of passage
That's-
too.
yeah.
Same kind of thing. It has to happen.
Yeah.
But very unfortunate when it does, especially in BFE, North Carolina. That's tough.
Yeah.
Well,
But I'm going to get it on Saturday.
oh, you haven't even got it yet. So this is recently. I thought it was like
Oh, this just happened.
just happened.
Yeah.
Well, like a month ago.
That's pretty recent. We'll take that. We'll take that. Interesting. So that was wild, man. Somebody had to come get you guys. I bet you guys had a couple hours of nothing going on, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Good
Well,
day.
we got some sleep.
Yeah.
We kind of laid
That's
down
nice.
for a little bit. We ate some French fries.
Were
at
the shows good?
McDonald's. Well, we missed one of the shows. We missed a good show.
We missed both.
And
We missed 2 shows.
the funny thing was, the first time the van broke down, we were outside of Charlotte, so we were kind of in a bigger city that was
Yeah.
populated, and I made a Instagram thing, and I was like, "Is there any shows like around the area? We're in Charlotte. We're broke
Yeah.
down. Like our van is seeming to." We had kicked it back up, so we were able to drive, but we missed our time for
Gig,
the
yeah,
other
yeah,
show.
Gotcha.
And this band hit us up and like, "Hey, we have this house party."
That's sick.
And I was like,
see, stuff like that's cool.
"Hell yeah, that's
Yeah.
great!" So we pull up to the house party in our van, and it's like, oh man, I hope you're not listening to this. But it's great. It's like a high school party.
Yeah, it's younger
know,
kids. Yeah, yeah.
Filled with there's this wonderful age of like Hot Topic being the
Yeah.
coolest thing
Yeah.
that there ever was. Like 2008 scene created.
Another
Yeah.
rite of passage.
And this house, like they were living in this crazy 2008 Hot Topic dimension where they just never left that world.
Oh,
like
no.
Spencer's, you know, the
Belts.
heart sign like that, the belts.
The
It was
chains. All
Okay.
crazy, and everyone was screaming, and everyone was underage and drunk,
Yeah.
and it was like just fantastic people
yeah,
watching.
liability.
Yeah.
Total
It
liability.
was fun though.
Yeah,
It was
it was
really
a ton of fun.
That's
The
awesome.
cops came like 3 separate times, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Y'all be good."
Cops didn't. Cops wanted to pull some people over later that night.
Yeah, they were like, "Okay, it's shutting down now.
fun.
Okay, we'll go post up
1
down the
mile,
road."
Yeah. Well, shit, stuff like that's cool though. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That desperation on the road. It's like, damn,
Uh-huh.
is there anywhere we can play tonight though? You know what I mean? When it
Nothing
happens.
terrible to say. That was
Yeah.
it was a great
It
time.
was so much fun.
How many nights in a row do you guys use? Well, you said the weekend thing. You
For
guys could do
now,
3 in a row, 4 in a
we
row,
can-
easy.
Yeah, reasonably we can
Yeah.
do about like 3 in a row. Sometimes 4 in a row if my boss graces me with the
Yeah.
Thursday off.
Mhm.
Which, you know, right now we're looking at it's seemingly sustaining itself,
Yeah.
knock on wood.
That's great.
So we're looking to, you know, maybe leave our jobs and do this full
That would be
time.
awesome. That's
Because
great.
like it keeps steamrolling, and this
Yeah.
is, like we've been waiting to get to this point where we just get asked back to do more stuff, and it's like, man, we're gonna be out for like 3-4 weeks, and
Yeah.
then we have another one in August and another one in September, and it's making more sense to just like do this. So I
Yeah.
think our 4 days are about to turn into a month.
That's awesome. Good for
Yeah.
y'all. Yeah, and it's tough to be to your boss like, yo, hey, can I have the next 4 weeks off? You know,
Yeah.
Oh,
can I have
yeah,
every
that would-
weekend off and every Friday and every Thursday? You know, that just doesn't work.
Oh yeah,
Uh-uh.
they've been really cool with me so far.
that's great.
Yeah,
That's
they've been
great.
Really great.
Vocally though, do you have any trouble doing 4 in a rows? No. Yeah, kind of, maybe.
You know, I've actually noticed on the days off, the part that gets me like my voice is like yelling over the music.
Gotcha.
Oh, what do you want? You want a large shirt?
Yeah.
Is that what you were asking vocally?
No, yeah,
like my
yeah,
voice
that's what I mean.
straining?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the part. It's kind of like talking over the music. I think.
Yeah.
Thank goodness I feel like I've taken care of my voice so I can
That's
sing
good. That's good.
that amount. But
How about you? Do them wrists get to hurting on day 4 or nah? You good?
Not so much. We've really been just drilling this music for so long, and before we ever hit the road with any of these songs, I swear we practiced like 100 times. Like
Really?
we ran the set,
Put
and we
the hours
perfected
in.
it, and we put the hours in. So
Yeah.
it's all kind of muscle memory, thankfully. So there's not a lot of strain going on.
Gotcha.
I have been blowing through sticks, which is the main thing. I just have to buy like the big bulk bag
the
of
50.
unmatched. Yeah, and they just pop like 2 or 3 every show. Just like, oh, I hope I don't run out of sticks on this 4-day run.
On this tour.
I'd have to hit up a Guitar Center tomorrow.
I love that, man. And well, as you guys show, like, say I hadn't seen any shows, I actually haven't seen many, so this is a fair analysis. Like, what are you guys trying to do show wise? Is it like a high energy thing? Is it like a deep thought thing, or like what is your show kind of like? What's the goal? Do you know what I mean?
High energy for sure. And right now, I think the coolest thing that we've been able to do was getting the backing tracks. Because when we were making the record, we added a couple harmonies, and then we added like 500 harmonies.
Yeah.
And there's a time and a place for like, we don't have to do that live. But in this case, we really did want to do it live and do all of those harmonies. So Joey got the Roland system, and we've been able to have like these like massive symphonies of harmonies while we're playing really loud music. And it's
so is it in-ears or something?
Yeah,
or?
we do. We use
Sweet.
in-ears.
That's awesome.
And so that's been really cool, and we've kind of been doing that for a minute now. The next goal is to have some sort of lighting spiel. I think we want to make some tower. We want to make a tower of televisions.
Oh, really?
We use a lot of televisions in our show, and we've been getting these like the old ones that are this big.
Yeah, the big old
like
CRT
with the rounded front.
Yeah.
Kinda, you know what I mean? Yeah, classic.
We had made a music video for our song Dark Colossus that incorporated TVs because I just was like, oh, this looks cool.
Yeah.
And then we started using them live, and they're just a pain in the ass to put on stage.
Yeah.
I'm like, how can we do this but make it easier to carry, make it easier to fit on stage? So we kind of want to build a contraption to have like all of these flat screen TVs on this
like some props
bar.
kinda.
Yeah, like
That's
some
cool.
props and just have it a little bit more visually entertaining.
Aesthetic.
I
Okay, that's
think.
cool. I think that's cool.
Aesthetic.
I like that. How do you guys like the in-ear so far? Is that like a new thing? Is it tough to get used to?
New.
I've been curious about these.
That was the maybe practiced 100 times before we took it out of the practice space. Was
Gotcha.
that getting used to that? How do we do both? Then do we take an ear out? And what happens if I do my head like, oh, it falls out? That's what happens. So I can't do that.
Gotcha.
You got to kind of learn how to keep them in, learn how to still be able to move without shaking them out of your ear.
Gotcha.
That's the hardest part for me, at least.
Yeah, it's not to like.
Yeah, or yank the cord out of your little pack.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But other than that, I found it's really, really nice to have, and I just keep my right ear in, which is where all the cymbals live.
Okay.
And it's nice to be able to play a show and get done and not have my right ear be ringing.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Does it really cancel that much? It does a great job. Yeah.
Really saves at least my ears, I know. And I know I've seen you wearing yours like between shows and stuff because they're good earplugs too.
That's great.
You've also
I didn't know
earplugs.
that. I didn't know that. I just assumed it was just pumping it in.
In our seasoned years, we've become much more like thoughtful about our ears and the longevity, and not having a headache the next day is really nice. So.
And it just feels good, It's like, all right, I'm protecting these that I want to use for hopefully a good while, at the ears.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I'd say
awesome.
More pros than cons to using them.
for sure. Setup wise though, does it take a lot longer to set them up? Because I've asked some people about this, and they were like, yeah, man, if you get them, just plan on taking another hour to set them up, like mixing wise, maybe. But I don't know how true that is. I've just heard it that's more like rock band 6-piece kind of people though. Would you agree with that or disagree?
We've got it dialed in pretty clean to where we can go from like absolutely nothing to fully set up, ready to play, and I don't know, 6 minutes.
That's
7 minutes.
awesome. Do you guys tour with a PA or
no? But
just all venue stuff.
It'd be nice to do that. Hopefully, when we get the big van back, we'll have that kind of space. But for right now, no, we're just relying on the venues, which changes a lot from venue to venue.
For sure.
That's one drawback of having the backing tracks is that you are really, really reliant on the sound guy to push up that fader.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
so that's out of your hands kind of. Very cool, though. I like it, though. I'm a fan of it. It makes it sound huge. It's very cool. And the harmony stuff, I think, is really cool. I'm a big harmony guy, so that's tasteful. As influence-wise, though, we kind of skipped over this. Where are you guys coming from, like, on your influences? Like, what bands made you guys want to be a band or solo artists or whatever, local or far away, whatever? Anybody in particular?
Muy bien. the old Athens local band Muy Bien.
I don't know him. Should I know him?
You should, yeah.
I'm gonna look him up. Is it MUOY?
No, it's MUUY BIIEN WII.
Got it.
But I think they took a lot of their stuff down.
Really?
I think.
Interesting.
But they're just like punk rock that we would go to see like all their shows every time.
Nashville punk rock.
And it was so, at least for me, so inspiring to go like to these grungy Caledonia shows and see just sardine people in there.
The performance was so good too.
Yeah, the performance was flawless.
Yeah.
How about you? Anybody in particular, or you just agree with that one?
I feel like what made me want to play guitar and make songs, I really like the Pixies.
Yeah.
And I really like Devo and, Cat Power. I guess like 80s, 90s alternative
I dig that.
stuff. But then I think, putting on a performance and making a really exciting show is watching, Muy Bien. They were great at what they did. And I
assume they're inactive?
Yeah, they're not
they
don't play under that name anymore. But I'm trying to think of other like.
Yeah, I know it's a big question. It's like, hey, who's your favorite ever?
It's like, dude, it's
okay.
yeah. It's interesting because it's like there's performances that are like, whoa, I want to make a crazy show, and then there's just like, what did I, my roots of listening to things. What did I like? And I liked a lot of soundtrack music too.
Yeah.
Like a lot of anime stuff.
Yeah.
I watched like a lot of cartoons.
And what is you guys' genre considered? I think I read maybe in the Spotify bio, was it indie pop, or what's you guys' description of it if you had one?
I've been saying art rock.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah. It's a little artsy fartsy.
I like that. That's cool. Like Love Tractor kind of something like that. Very art rock.
Yeah, I think that kind of captures it.
Yeah, there's definitely some rock in there though. Like you guys get down sometimes. I was like, oh, this one's rocking,
We get heavy D for sure.
Yeah. It's got the indie thing going on too, which is very cool. Like it sounds like you guys, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Try to spread it. Like we can kind of fit in with multiple different genres.
Yeah, there's definitely a difference between the two albums. I think. Yeah. I was like, okay, here's a different sound, which is cool. Yeah, was that purposeful?
No, I don't think so. I think for me at least, well, I mean, I wrote the record. I was 17 when I wrote Riderola, and I didn't know how to play guitar all the way yet, and I didn't know how to sing all the way yet. I didn't know what my voice was. And you naturally, as you get older and learn more stuff, you become a different player, or you just like start to think differently. At least I did. And I think as I was writing Ghost Party, I was able to capture what I wanted to write. When I was inexperienced, I didn't know how to write what I wanted to write.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And we had more tools when we had, because you get jobs, you have money, you're like, okay, we can buy some things to make this happen. We can get a microphone and have a cool like DAW system where we can add 500 harmonies. So it was less purposeful and more just, I would say, natural progression of things.
And where did you guys record the album at?
We recorded it at our studio.
That's awesome. In like a house or something?
Studio Joey.
Studio Joey.
A lot of it was in the Chase Park warehouses. Yeah. We had a room there that was kind of our studio, which wound up being like a studio. And that room had vaulted ceilings, and at the highest point, they were 19 feet tall.
Okay, wow.
It was a tiny little room, but the ceilings were insanely high, which meant we could do these crazy, huge harmony sections in this room, and you'd have so much room sound on each one of the tracks that you'd be able to pull it off. It wouldn't sound like, oh, you recorded 20 of you in a vocal booth or whatever. So it's a super good tool. Like the room itself was a really, really good tool. And we did, in that same building, we did the drums down at the end of the hall with some friends of ours their studio, Gift Horse.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Isn't it, what's that guy's name? Is it Vanderberg? Is that a different guy?
That Chase Park. That Chase Transductions is right down the street. But
who runs Gift Horse? I know this guy's name.
Martin at the time was running it. So he worked with us. And also,
I think they're relocating now, right?
Yeah, he's in Nashville now.
Very cool. Very cool.
He's a big rock star.
That's awesome.
Got Wonderwild, and he plays in Coin.
And all that.
Oh, good for him.
It was a great time, and it was a big learning experience, and it was really, really nice to just show up with drumsticks and sit back and wait for him to say, okay, go.
Let the pros do it. Capturing drums is a different animal. That's for sure.
It is. And the way that there's a lot of reamping that went on where he'd like just reamp the snare through this weird guitar amp with this weird mic. And you just get all these really cool and really useful tracks. But other than that, everything else was in our room.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's so cool that we can do that nowadays, that we don't have to go in and, pay somebody $1 million to do whatever.
Yeah.
Spend 7 years on it. But what you say you guys did a lot of harmonies on this one. Was that just like you guys are a fan of harmonies? You love singing harmonies? Or was there a reasoning? It makes it sound big? Like, what was the thought process?
When I first was writing these songs, I would put them in to GarageBand, and I have some recording experience, not much. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I definitely wanted to layer more, and I wanted there to be more texture because I had the resources to do so. So the last song on the record, Beetlebee, I was playing around with like, okay, well, what I want to add like this crazy harmony here. And it sounded awesome. And we did it into his fancy setup, and it sounded even better in there. And then Beetlebee, to all of the other songs compared, it was like, it sounded like it was on a different record. It just sounded so good. Different. So then we essentially had to go retrace our steps and then
that's cool.
Produce and edit ourselves to make all the other songs match Beetlebee.
Yeah.
Okay. And then all the other songs started sounding better than Beetlebee, and we were just like stockpiling. Go back to Beetlebee
and make it bigger and crazier.
We were stockpiling on top of each other, and to the point where part of this process became editing, and we learned how to revise our own work. I learned how to revise my own structure. Some of the songs were way too long, and we cut out entire sections, and that was, I would say, maybe the largest and most crucial part of Ghost Party was self-reflection of it.
The second part of the thought on it, like you finish the thought. And that's cool that you guys say you went back and did it because you wanted it to sound consistent, right? Is that kind of the point, like to sound like a whole record per se, instead of like, oh, that's the off one and that one, or you know what I mean? That's the weird one or whatever.
Yeah, we didn't want it to be an outlier. It was so good with all of this production, and I loved how the sound had really evolved from Ghost or from Riderola. It just became its own record. So we're like, all right, well, let's make this all cohesive.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's really cool.
There was a lot of talk about it. Me and Sienna have discussed many times about how lots of records, sometimes you'll find a record that's just so great, you love it, except for that one song that you skip every time. And it's a skip song, and every great record's got it. It's got the song, you're like, just go to the next one. And we really, really, really tried super hard to make sure there were no skip songs, no skip moments. Like every single moment had its place, and it was there for a reason. It was purposeful.
No skip moments. Mic drop.
It was very hard.
Yeah, that's very admirable. Hard. I like that.
Because there were times I feel like near the very end where I can't remember what song, but I remember one song we were like, we've got to do something to this one, like 8 bars on this one song because it's the skip part.
Up until like. I feel like this year we even made an edit on Red Blood.
Oh yeah.
Maybe that was close to. It was very close to it being done, and we were just like, no, we gotta fix it. We gotta make it cooler. We gotta make it better. So it really was a long process doing that, and I think the next record it will be much quicker. I don't know. Maybe it won't.
But at least we learned a lot.
So that attention to detail was like, it's kind of rare these days, which is awesome. So like, this is very cool that you guys were like, all right, we're gonna get this one fucking right. We're gonna sit down and do it. Yeah. And how long did it take you guys total to do Ghost Party?
Let's see. We linked back up in 2017, and I had the bare bones structures. 2018, I think, is when we started playing with the Cubase and just getting them recorded. In 2019 was like Harmony Land and editing, and then that took like 2 years. We used COVID for a lot of the like self-reflection of the songs. So it took 5 years to really
from
make it what it is.
Well, sounds great. And did you have any trouble, like, well, I assume you had all the songs in advance, or were you writing any as you kind of went along on it?
That's a good question.
I'm curious.
When me and Joey linked back up, I think we had 4 songs. Okay. And then I think during that, as we started playing together, I wrote the rest of the record. And
gotcha.
You can
which ends up being, is it 11 songs?
It's 11 songs. 11 songs. Yeah. The songs before we linked up sound really sad. and then the ones after are happy. Can kind of hear it.
Gives it a good little sprinkle, you know? Gives it a
Mm-hmm.
good little mix up. I like that. Well, that's awesome. I think that's cool to spend that much time on a record. I bet that was very enjoyable for y'all. Bet y'all had a good
It
time doing
was.
It was
I
kind
know.
of hard to like close that chapter, you know,
Yeah.
when it finally came
Yeah.
time to be like, yep, send it off for mastering. We're
Yeah.
done. It was like, this is what we've been doing for so long.
We were talking about this the other day where, it was kind of sad to close this chapter of Ghost Party, but then, all of this touring stuff and all of
Yeah.
like, okay, well, how do we market Ghost Party?
Yeah,
How do we
like-
make a whole PR thing out of it? How do you tour it? And then that's been just this whole other learning process. Like, how do you send an email to an agent about your record? And it's like this whole this is a giant chapter book, Ghost Party.
Yeah.
And I feel like, 5 years I've learned so much about
a lifetime's worth of knowledge,
a
for
lifetime's
sure.
yeah, like I learned about the music industry, I learned about making a record. It's
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Do you guys think the next one's going to be kind of tough? Because, like, imagine if you guys do this one in a year or whatever, and it's like, oh, this is different, you know? Or are we looking forward to it?
I have no idea what to expect with a new record. I'm
Been writing any?
yes, we have
Always?
There's some in the
we have
works.
a few songs. I'm really excited because we've been in Ghost Party world for a long time.
Yeah, a long time, yeah.
And I've written a few songs that even sound different, like it's
Yeah.
a whole other universe, and I'm quite excited to
That's
explore
great, that's
that.
great.
Yeah, me too.
Getting
That
sick of this
sounds like
album.
Tired
You
of
know
playing
how it
the-
goes.
Oh, I know, I
I
know.
want to write new songs.
Yeah, but it's cool how like you could look back at your life like in the future and you'll be able to like literally look at an era and be like, damn, that
Yeah.
was the Ghost Party era. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or
Yeah.
whatever tour you're on. It's like like a part of your life you can always look at and it's cataloged correctly in my opinion, which is
I
cool.
like
you know?
that, yeah.
I look at it that way. It's like, man, that tour was really great. You know, that was just like an era of like high school or whatever. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
for
saying?
sure. Yeah, it's
yeah.
kind of like in this.
Yeah, this little 5-year
pocket.
slot, you know.
Yeah.
It's very cool. And when do you guys think you'll or you might not have thought about it yet, I guess after this tour, any plans on like recording the next stuff, or it's just gonna be ride it up and see what happens?
Well, yeah, we need to get through all of this touring, which I think is going to just span through September.
That's great.
But we will have there's going to be 2 weeks where we have off, like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. And if I am unemployed at that point, I think I might be, which is great. I will have time to start really focusing on writing. So I'm going to do that in August and September and see
Very
what
cool.
I can come up with hopefully this year.
Have you guys had luck like writing stuff on the road? Like I know a lot of bands somehow pull that off, but for me, it's like I'm in one lane or the other. Like when I'm on the road, I'm not writing. If that makes sense.
I'm one of those people, I can
Yeah.
only focus on one thing
Yeah,
at a
it's
time.
like there's
where
only
it's-
so much brainwave, you know.
Yeah, totally. If
Yeah.
I'm like split between two things, I can't do
Yeah.
either of them. It's kind of like
Yeah.
sometimes when I'm on the phone and someone else is talking, I can't hear anything. It's weird. It's like the
Yeah.
in between on a radio, so like
Yeah.
shh.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. No, I know what you
I,
mean. I know what you mean. That's awesome. I mean, I'm excited to see what you guys do. Don't you guys? I feel like I read this, and maybe it was like Record Plug or something. I read that you guys got some kind of like placement in I don't know if it was a radio station, and then there was the Super Bowl thing. Tell me about the Super Bowl halftime thing. I'm kind of curious about this.
So Toyota reached out to me on Facebook.
Yeah, that's
I
wild. For
was
starters,
like-
that's wild. Okay.
I was what was I doing? I was like 19 years old, I
yeah.
think, when that happened. And yeah, it was a little bit after Ride or Rolla had released.
Okay.
And I saw this message on Facebook, and it was like, hey, can we use your song? We want to talk to you. And I thought it was like a UGA thing. I thought
Yeah.
it was like some media group, student run. And I wrote them back, and I was like, sure, yeah, let me look into this. They sent a link, and I remember I was working that day.
Yeah.
I was subbing, so I didn't get to look at what they sent me, but I had already written back, and I was like, sounds good.
Run it. Yeah.
Let's do it. And then later when I got home, I was like laying in bed, and I was like, all right, let's take a look at this.
Yeah.
Okay. Holy shit. What the fuck? And I freaked out, and I went in the room, and I was like, hey, I think Toyota wants to use Ride of Rolla, and I don't know, I haven't really looked into it. And
Yeah.
and the person was like, oh, cool. And so
No
then
big deal.
I reached out back to them. I was like, what, to my understanding, what, are you guys like a media group? I'm like, yeah, we want to use this on the new 2016 Toyota Corolla.
Okay. Okay.
And then that happened. That was just supposed to be a commercial, and then it got aired on the Super Bowl.
That's
and
nuts.
it
Wow.
was quite crazy.
Yeah, you guys were watching it? You see it or didn't see it?
I was
Yeah?
watching the Super Bowl when it happened.
That's
I was watching
nuts.
it, and I just
I mean, how did they stumble
one of
across something like that? You know what I mean? Like, did you guys have a lot of
Speechless.
listeners at that point or no?
well, I think I found this out later, where because I was like, how did
Yeah,
they
it's so
find us?
random,
Because
right?
we were
Yeah.
we were a small band at that point. You know, we were like local gutter punks, and so we're like, what made them like us? I have no idea. But it turns out a kid that went to UGA,
Okay.
he had moved to Atlanta, started working with this media group, and he was like, I have
Gotcha.
a perfect
hype.
band.
Yeah.
And I think too, this certain company, they were wanting to pick someone. They didn't want to go with some big band. They kind of wanted to give it back, and I was like, well, that's cool. They wanted to get,
I need to see this commercial. It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
about to look it up. I'll look it up. That's cool. That's cool. That's awesome. And did it feel like a big moment? Like, oh shit, we're about to get a ton of listeners. Or did anything happen? Or was it just like, boom,
Yeah.
we did the Super Bowl?
It was unbelievable.
Yeah,
It was totally unbelievable. As I was watching it, I was just totally speechless because right before I'd watched Beyonce play, and then the commercial was right next to that, and I was just like, what?
What?
And yeah, I mean, post that, I was really hopeful. I think that that it would help steamroll us into maybe some record labels, but at the time, you know, I really didn't know how to manage Monsoon or manage us, so I didn't really know how to use that as an anchor point.
Gotcha.
And you know, it was a really cool thing. I didn't get a car out of it. I still had to go to work. You know,
Next time,
I
next
wasn't
time.
like a millionaire after it, which I think a lot of people thought that
Think
I
you
was.
would be?
And I was like,
Yeah.
no,
yeah.
it was
It's
just
not how it works yet.
really cool. Not yet. Yeah.
You're just
So,
happy to be there on that kind of
happy
thing.
to be there.
I love that. That's cool. I can't remember where I read that. I feel like it was in Record Plug or something. It was like something. Then they dropped in like subtly. They were like after a Super Bowl placement in a commercial, and I was like, it's a weird thing to just drop in there. Very cool. But yeah, what about what's been your favorite thing about being from Athens though? Kind of to jump ship from that Super Bowl thing, but like you guys are obviously an Athens band, right? You want to be an Athens band or no?
I love being from Athens.
Yeah,
I think it's great. This is, you know, pretty much where I'm from. I'm
Yeah.
from California, but I moved here when I was really young. And
Immigrant.
I know, go back. I like being from Athens. It's really cool to go to these bigger cities and like, well, what city are you from? Like, well, we're kind of off the skirts of Atlanta. Like I don't know. I feel like Athens kind of has a cool reputation.
Oh
though,
yeah, it's
with
got
its
some
music.
shock value. Yeah.
People always know what I'm talking about. Like, oh, Athens. Like, it's a really cool tour stop for people. It's one of those like magical little towns like Boone.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
oh, you're from there.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I feel like, I get to live in that magical little town. Like sometimes I think about touring bands coming through Athens and how they must feel. Like,
Yeah.
wow, what a
So
cool
cool,
little
probably. Yeah.
spot.
I like it when you tell people you're from Athens. Sometimes they're like, "Oh shit, you guys must be good." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Nah, it doesn't mean that." But it's cool though, you know. It's got shock value. They're like, "Wow."
Mm-hmm.
They're like, "Yeah, REM, right?" And I'm like, "Right." I'm like,
Yep.
right. Yeah, pretty cool.
B-52's town.
Yeah, very cool.
It's a great resource. You know,
Yeah.
you're surrounded by all things music and so many musicians and so many well-connected people. So it's been, I think I like it for that reason the most, that it's just been a really good resource as opposed to like if we'd come up in Isla, Georgia or whatever, like
It'd have been a crutch, you know what I mean? It'd have
Yeah.
been tough. It'd have been like, oh, there's no other bands here or something, you know what I mean?
where luckily we were growing up, we were surrounded by Camp Amped and other
Yes,
bands and
Newsy Space.
nightlife, all that stuff. So
That's awesome. I agree. Yeah. I think and when you tour more, you like realize you go to some cities. It's like, wow, I really do love that. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
like you go to some place and they only
Totally.
have like a country scene or like 2 dive bars. It's like, damn, we got it made. You know what I mean? We got 100 places to go see people.
It's really perfect. Like you're saying, it's, you know, I see some of these cities and it's like, how do you ever manage that? Where I feel like Athens is just the perfect temperature where it's like, there's the multiple venues that you can go to. And
You can
it's not too small
play a
either.
lot in Athens and play different places. Like imagine if you lived in like Auburn or Clemson's a good example. Like you got 2 spots tops, you know, like you have to tour no matter what if you want to keep playing. So we're also lucky that we could do 40 Watt and did Flickr and, you know, wherever for a few weeks, whatever. It's great. What are you guys kind of trying to do going forward? Like what's the next goal for you guys? Obviously, like I guess get bigger, tour more, that kind of stuff. Like anything in particular? Has there been like a goal like we want to do this run or we want to get up to this many listeners or we want to this and that, you know?
I
10 billion monthly listeners.
10 trillion billion infinity
Yeah.
and 2 listeners.
That's a good goal.
Gosh, I really would like to make. We're doing all this touring. I would love to make a captivating show, like a more so than it is.
Yeah.
Visually, I think.
Okay.
At some point would be really.
You thinking like
great.
green screen in the back? You thinking like just with the
That would be
TVs and
crazy.
stuff?
I want to do
or-
the TV thing.
Yeah.
I want to see if we can actually make that work.
So would the TVs work and like they'd have stuff playing on them? Is
Oh,
that
yeah.
what you mean?
Oh, yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I would like
Wow,
to
that's
make
a production.
We've
Talk
got
about
a
an hour-long
cohesive.
setup.
Yeah.
We've got a cohesive album. I'd like to make a cohesive show. Maybe that's me just like dreaming big, and but I would love to get on, more shows, more reputable shows. I think would be really cool, and just grow sort of in that regard. And an album will come. I can never speak on an album because I always have a direction I want it to go, and then it goes completely
does?
adjacent.
Yeah.
So I have no idea with the next album. It's just gonna come out how it comes out, and that'll be a day. But
Deal with it.
Yeah.
Here it is. Have you guys had trouble on the road, or not trouble, but like, have you had any when you guys are touring and stuff? This is kind of off camera too, but like, so I assume like you're playing like all original venues every time, right? You guys are all originals, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Word. So like no guarantees most of the time, right? Or do you guys like a percentage kind of thing? Do you know what I mean? Like you guys have to go to New York and it's like, oh, you got a door deal, like.
Yeah.
Oh shit, we might lose a lot of money on this run.
It's
You know
scary.
what I mean?
Oh no, it's a total gamble for sure.
Yeah.
I worked out some guarantees.
Okay.
Not all of them.
Yeah.
Actually most of them are or I hope we make some money.
Yeah.
It's so terrifying. And the fact that, we might leave our job soon and be dependent on that is like, oh my God, I hope we can make
It's
it
like
work.
our only source of income.
But yeah, to answer your question, it's like that's a total fear of mine.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Me too. So I was making sure it wasn't just me. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah. No. There's. I have no idea if it's gonna work. But another thing with these weekend runs is I've wanted to sort of build like a database. I'm really nerdy. I have like every show has all of the income and all of the accounting.
No, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah.
And everything. And so, looking at it, I've been able to be like, okay, this is kind of steady. Like this is our average night. This is what we can expect to walk away with. And if it can just keep being like that, that's going off of 5 months of data. That's not a lot, but it's enough to be like, okay, I guess we can quit our jobs and cross our fingers. So
I love that. And you just got to assume that they'll get bigger, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, the more fans you get,
That's
That's
kind
safe,
of what
yeah.
I'm thinking. It's like, if we go to these returning towns, it's only going to be better the next time.
Oh, yeah. More tickets,
So-
more merch, that kind of stuff,
It's a gamble for sure.
It
I don't know
definitely
that for
is.
sure, but
yeah. It's super, it's weird to be like, we could go play New York right now, but like, is it smart? You know what I mean? Like, can we sell more than 15 tickets? You know what I mean? Like, that's a long way to go. It's a long way. It's like, damn, I really hope this is worth it. I wish there was like a guarantee, like a guarantee that you get a crowd and paid, it'd be great. But that's the name of the game,
Yeah. And it's helpful too. It's like we lucked out because you kind of sometimes will have one show that's worth the entire tour.
Yeah, the key date, as I call them.
Yeah,
as
like
I call them.
the boss fight of all of the shows. Like this is the one. And so if you get something lucky like that, it can kind of like help trickle down the rest of the shows.
That seems to be the name of the game, is like book a key date and then book your shows around that, to where if at the least you have the key date that makes the others that you can take for less money, more risk, make it worth it. Yeah, I'm fascinated with this kind of stuff. So.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, touring's pretty interesting. Yeah,
we should get some coffee and
we
just
should.
exchange
Well,
our.
get the data out. We can get the data out. We can run it down. It'll be great. It'll be great. Yeah. Because it's an art. You know what I mean? It really is.
Totally.
Yeah. And the more you do it, it's like little things start to stick out. It's like, oh, well, that wasn't smart.
Oh, yeah.
Playing in Atlanta with 3 Athens bands. That probably wasn't a good idea. We probably should have got some local bands on that.
You said it. We've done it. I've definitely done like go to some other state. And like, can we take our buddies with us? No, you got to get locals in that state.
Yep.
You cannot. And a lot of people make that mistake where it's like, we're going to North Carolina. Like, do you want to play? And we're gonna bring our other friends from Athens.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's like,
well,
don't do
you're gonna
that.
piss off the venue if you even ask them that.
Yeah,
So
for
don't
sure.
even ask that.
For sure. I've been finding that out myself. We tried to do a summer thing, or we're still trying. We haven't given up yet, but like we're gonna do like a beach run, 2 Athens bands, and try to get 1 local, and like not getting much venue interest. And I don't blame them. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make sense.
It can work. It can sometimes work if it's like a real. Actually, Tualingua is a really really cool venue that says yes to.
Where are they at? I want to hit them up.
They're Charleston,
Oh, I love
and they
Charleston.
say the name of the game is they do not say no to touring bands.
That's
and if
awesome.
a touring band is bringing their other touring friends, they just say yes to it all.
What was the name of the place?
Tualingua, Tua, and then Lingua,
Lingua.
Ling.
That's dope.
They're really cool, and they have seen so much success by not having that like 2 locals, one out of town recipe. They don't do that.
That's interesting. That's cool. I'm gonna tell them. I think stuff like that's really cool.
You
and
should.
Like, it's a tricky game because like you want to do the thing where you trade with shows or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, when we play at 40 Go Out, we should have a touring band with us. But it's like they're gonna sell less tickets than if I got 80 Blanco to open for us. You get what I mean? So it's like I could have 3 Athens bands and pack it out, or 2 and 1 local and sell less. You know what I mean? It's like
I know
probably
what
do
you
the
mean.
3 Athens. You know what I mean?
That's the gamble too,
So
because
tricky.
if you have the out of town band, then you've got that
They put
trade
them
show
on,
over
yeah.
there.
Hopefully,
So-
yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
assuming they're nice, you know, and they're good, you know. Yeah,
It's-
but it's the name of the game. Kind of is like making the relationships. I guess it's kind of your currency. But it's cool. I'm glad you guys see this too. You know what I mean? It's like learning and like just touring, like just doing it. You get better at it. You know what I mean? We did a few stuff like we too eager on bigger places and too eager on like headlining in Birmingham. Like, what are we doing? What are we thinking? You know what I mean? What are we thinking? You know, but
you gotta be in the middle.
yes.
Another...
The second slot is usually the best to me at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what do you guys like? Okay, so you got this tour coming up. That's gonna be full focus for now. Like Athens dates. Do you guys play a lot of Athens dates right now, or is it like you're touring so much that you don't?
Well, we're playing more than normal because of the trades, you know, because we've
Gotcha.
set up, we're going on this big tour and I've worked out a couple trades with people like, we're actually doing one at the end of May
Really?
with a band from Philadelphia, which kickstarted the whole
That's
tour
awesome.
for
That's
us.
awesome.
And they're like, you can kind of tell, you can tell in an email when someone is a good person and
Oh,
when
yeah.
they're gonna.
There's a vibe.
There's a vibe, yeah.
There's a
It's
vibe,
just
you know,
it's an instinct. It's the way they type. It's the way they say things. And so I was like, all right, these bands are cool as shit, and their music is awesome. And so we worked up something with them, and they're trading for this awesome Philadelphia show and in July. And so we worked everything around that. We ended up getting some other cool shows around there. But that's May 31st at
Where
the
at?
Georgia Rooftop.
Oh, sweet. The rooftop's fun. Yeah.
The rooftop's gonna be really
it's
fun.
Nice. Yeah.
And then I think we got Ath Fest. It's gonna be great.
You guys,
That's all local.
Wicked Weed main stage. Is that what it is, or are you guys side stage?
We are Georgia Theater that night.
Oh, so you're doing
Club crawl.
Oh, okay, that's cool. So you guys would play late, right? It'd be like 11 p.m. or something.
Doing 12:30 a.m.
That's cool.
We're
That's
gonna be
hype.
Sweepy weepy. And then after that, we're doing more Nordista Freeze.
Oh,
Harbor
nice.
Commodore.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be at SBC.
SBC.
That's awesome.
That's fun.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
gonna eat that up. That's too much room for that
Oh,
man.
he's
He's
gonna
gonna
Oh,
be
he's gonna
run
be.
all over the
Oh, I
place.
can't
he's gonna
wait
be
to
down
see
that
him
highway
there.
out there.
He's probably gonna climb a telephone pole. I saw him do that on an Instagram video not too long.
Yeah.
I was like, what's wrong with
He's
this
gonna
man?
climb up the scaffolding.
Yeah, and
of
hang,
course.
hang up there for a little while.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that's awesome.
I don't
and
even want to think about it.
has it been weird though? You know, like for me, we talked about this on the last episode because I'm kind of interested in this right now. Like, you see bands like Hotel Fiction and like Granville, for example, like they get so to a certain point where they just can't. You know, you can't just play Athens every weekend. You know what I mean?
It's
It's not a good strategic move.
It's
you know.
funny. We're talking about this. I actually got in trouble today.
Did you? A little radius? Radius issue?
Radius thing, and it was okay because I did, I mentioned it beforehand.
Yeah.
And then something just got lost in translation, and
Yeah.
it's like, I didn't read that message.
That's all good.
And then I was like, yeah, I thought I let you know. I thought it was okay. So yeah, you run into radius clauses. So then it's like you can really realistically do one show a month at the minimum.
Tops.
At its tops. Like
Yeah,
if
yeah.
anything, you try to do like one show a quarter.
Yeah, one
which
semester.
Which makes doing the trades really difficult.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, it's a wicked web to weed.
It's a chess
You know what I mean?
game.
It is.
It
It's
is.
such a chess game, and I had to explain this to the guys, and they were super understanding. I was
Yeah.
like, it was a trade show for Philadelphia. I promise I'm not trying to play the rooftop like right
Yeah.
before Outfest. And,
Yeah, I got you.
and it was all good.
Yeah, that happens though. It's confusing. I know exactly what you're saying though. Because we just love to play too. Like you just want to play more. Like I just want to play Athens all the time. I
Yeah.
fucking love it here. It's like I want to do like I like playing like places like Boar's Head. You know what I mean? Like I could do that every weekend.
I know.
You know
Wouldn't
what I
that
mean?
be fun?
I know, and it's like, well, damn. Now we've sold tickets at the theater. We can't, you know, because like that's gonna fuck with our theater date. So it's weird. We've been talking about it a lot. I don't know.
I have a few tricks that I could tell you about later.
Off camera.
Yeah, off camera that I can.
Little sneaky things.
Yeah.
You can always offer a trade show to a high school band.
Yeah.
They want in another town, like, hey, we'll trade you this can. They don't know what trade show means. They're in high school. They don't. They're focusing on math quizzes. They don't.
I have no idea.
That's terrible. I'm just kidding, but seriously.
No, seriously. we've done the pop-up show, you know what I mean? Like, oh hey, we're playing tomorrow. Come see us last minute pop-up. You guys come by.
Oh, smart.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah,
house parties too kind of
I love house parties.
You can get out of that.
That's the thing with Boone.
thing.
Like Boone, like kind of like you guys are saying, they don't have venues is what I hear, right? For the most part.
Not really.
Yeah, it's like a
Not
house
really.
party thing.
They've got the Boone Saloon.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
their
I've
one,
heard of that.
I think, official venue. But
Which is a
everything
cool
else is like, pop up.
Yeah, there's this one I follow. It's called like Boone Home Play Shows. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh my god,
Yeah.
I wanted to play that so
yeah,
bad.
we should go do that one because they'll be like, there's not enough parking, so they're like, hey, Cynthia's carpooling for, and like they like put all the names up there. It's like super down to earth. It's like a basement, and everybody plays it. I'm like, see, that's just cool, you know. It's like a house party town. But yeah, any towns you guys? Which towns on the next tour are you guys looking forward to hitting in particular? Probably New York City, of course.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a basic answer. I'm really looking forward to seeing that because we have done like a lot of smaller towns, and we haven't. We keep thinking we're gonna see something like larger than Atlanta because that's all that's what we're used to, and we haven't actually seen a city as big as Atlanta yet.
DC was close. DC came really close,
Yeah.
but and then the next show was in Atlanta. The very next day, we went from DC to Atlanta. And driving into Atlanta was like, this city is incredible. The city is massive.
Yeah.
Truly, like the sprawl is just so big. So maybe like LA would maybe compete with Atlanta.
I'm sure it will.
I would do it. Yeah.
I'm looking.
I mean, probably New York will too. I think.
New York will probably. It will definitely.
Yeah,
it's
New
going
York
to be.
will.
You're gonna see the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing something that kind of tops our blessed Atlanta.
Yeah.
Philadelphia will probably be really fun.
Yep.
Oh, that'll be really cool. I don't hear a lot of people going out there, so that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And
Maybe we'll hang out with Mothers up there, right?
Oh,
Isn't that where she went?
That's where she went.
Do you guys when you're touring, do you guys like relax a lot, or is it go go go? Because like I like to sometimes we'll have an off day in a cool city. Try to, if we can, or do 2 nights in a city so that you can soak it in the next day.
We haven't. Since we're doing the weekends, Thursday to Sunday is booked. So we haven't had the point where it's like, oh gosh, we couldn't find a show. We have an off day. But we're probably going to experience that in July because I cannot find anything for June 21st. It's driving me crazy. And also Pittsburgh. What the fuck is wrong? Pittsburgh has been so hard.
Pittsburgh, okay.
I cannot find a show anywhere. And it's crazy because that's a big city.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I have had tough luck there.
Yeah, that's weird how some of them you just don't hear anything. You need like that foot in the door kind of.
You write to the bands and they don't say anything back. You write to the venues and it's like, no, you don't have anything on your calendar.
Yeah, I've checked it.
So we're probably going to have to, I don't know, we might have an off day. Yeah. We're going to have an off day in Washington, D.C. on the 4th of July.
On the 4th.
What?
That's actually going to be really cool.
That's awesome.
Very looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I imagine it's a huge fireworks show.
Oh, I imagine it's pretty crazy out there. I bet it's a vibe. What I'm saying, I guess what I'm asking is like I thread the needle and like, all right, I want this tour to be very not profitable, but successful, and like I would love to have a good time though. It's like, damn, we're going to wherever. It's like, damn, I'd love to just take a day tomorrow, but we can't. I just wondered if you guys experience any of that.
We talk about that often. Like, man, how cool would it be just to hang out in this town? When instead it's like, well, we gotta drive 7 hours right now.
A lot of time we do have to do a good bit of driving, but we did stop at a cave on the way to Lexington. We had time to kill.
Yeah.
So we passed by this cave highway thing.
It was
It's
cool?
like, the cave is on exit 34. And we're like,
That way.
let's go to this cave.
Yeah, that way.
It was so cool.
It was really cool.
We got there and it was like 5 minutes until the last tour of the day.
Okay.
It was like 3:55 and we were like, "You guys still doing the cave thing?" And they were like, "Yeah, you have 30 seconds."
To buy it.
Okay, I guess we're doing this cave thing.
Mhm.
And we were like the only ones on it because it was the very end of the day, so
Yeah.
it was like just the band
That's
and
awesome.
the
The sun
guy
was
being
setting
like, "This
right
is a
before
cave."
we went into the
Yeah.
cave, so it was the sun was going
Epic.
down and everything was
Yeah.
golden. It was beautiful. We saw
That's awesome.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Epic.
Mhm.
Epic. My hack I've been trying to do, I don't know if I think venues might not like this though, actually, but I've been doing 2 nights in a city. So you get to stay the next day, and hang around. But
So you have
but-
all day.
yeah,
How do you do that? Do they
well,
find out?
No, it's usually for us though. We're not in ticketed scenarios. We're more of like we've like gone the direction of play the cover shows to get the original shows, if that makes sense. So we make fans from the cover shows, and then we come back and do the original venues. So we have both, yeah, which has worked well for us. And so they usually don't mind like bars, you know what I mean? Not like ticketed, like you guys gotta sell 50 tickets, you know.
Yeah.
But if you guys ever get a chance to do 2 nights in the city, I would suggest it. I think it's very cool. Yeah.
That's
You get to
so
hang around the whole next day. You get to see some culture and stuff. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big fan of that. Yeah.
So cool.
It's a thought. It's a thought.
Mhm.
Who are some Athens bands that you guys are excited about right now?
Always excited about Wayuka. I
Yeah.
love
Yeah,
Wayuka.
yeah.
There are
I haven't had the chance to see them, but I've been watching them. Yeah.
They
There's
rock.
great show and yeah, I mean I don't know. We've been circling Wayuka for a while
Yeah?
now. They're just close friends of ours, and they came out with Burning Platform last year, which
Uh-huh.
I still feel like it's a new album that I'm like listening to and loving. But yeah. What about you?
Anybody in particular?
I think Fishbug's doing good stuff these days.
Aren't they
and
Atlanta? Are they Atlanta? Or
They're
no?
they're Athens, and
Okay.
it's been pretty cool to see them like on the rise
Yeah.
and getting notoriety and
I hear a lot about them. Yeah.
working. They're working real hard and good people, and I'm excited to see what they do. You know.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. I've heard of both of them. That's awesome. They're like there's 2 sides of the town. There's kind of like a, you know what I mean? There's like the normal town kind of side where like the bands are making a statement, like you guys, which is awesome.
Mhm.
Then there's like the fraternity, like Greek life side of it,
Yeah.
like AFTM and Springhouse and stuff like that. And I've been trying to get more bands like you guys on, like, you know what I mean? Like just that are just really doing their own thing and touring and not worried about like being like selling out the theater right now or something. You know what I mean? Like every Greek band that I have on is just like, I want to play the theater. And I did too, you know what I mean? I love the theater and everything.
Yeah.
It's just, it's interesting to hear a different perspective. Like you guys are on the road playing North Carolina. That's cool to me. And Virginia and shit. That's awesome.
Coma
I would
Therapy.
love to.
they're
Oh,
another
Coma
good
Therapy's
one.
great.
I don't know them. Should I be familiar with them?
Yes, they're great. They have a couple albums on Spotify,
2
right?
albums.
2 albums on Spotify.
Coma Therapy.
Coma
Athens
Therapy.
band?
Athens band now. They were
Greenville.
were they Greenville or Clemson? I thought they were
Yeah.
Clemson.
Oh, I think so.
They were
They're South
Clemson
Carolina.
band. And
There's
then
not
South
many of those.
Carolina transplanted to
Yeah.
now Athens, and we practice nearby to them, and it's cool whenever they're practicing. We can put our ear on the
Yeah.
door and get a free Coma
We
Therapy
love-
show. And they're so good. They're so talented. And
That's
they're such
awesome.
nice people. They're so great to talk to.
That's
I
great.
do recommend.
I'm
having
gonna
them
I'm
on.
gonna look them up. I can't wait. I wrote all these down. I'm excited.
Nice.
We're about to kind of close it up because we're an hour 15 in.
Wow.
Wow.
That went smoothly. It's going good. You guys are natural. This is first podcast or no?
We've done a few others.
Done
I
a
think
few?
this is the coolest one though.
This is
The other
no
ones are
way.
Zoom calls.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
this
don't
is
like.
the first real life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
I've
is
done
way
I've
cooler.
done a few Zoom for this. It's not the same. You know, you don't get that electricity. You know.
Yeah.
But I think a few more closing questions for you guys. Any particular shows you guys have played? Like maybe a favorite show or a favorite city you've been to? Anything like that? Any in particular?
Did you ever go to Rowdy Dowdy
Rowdy Dowdy.
out on Dowdy Road?
behind the like
behind
Jittery
Trader
Jet- yeah.
Joe's,
I know
Jittery
Trader
Joe's,
Joe's is, yeah.
way over on Epsbridge.
Uh-huh.
It's Dowdy Road, and at the very end of the road was this house party house,
Uh-huh.
and
No.
they had
Fucking
these
John
house shows.
Hughes style
Yeah.
80s toilet
Really?
paper in the trees, pizza on the record player,
300-400
shit.
people,
No way.
like cars
Uh-huh.
all the way down the whole street. It was
That's
crazy.
crazy.
But they had we played one of their Halloween shows,
Yeah.
and it was still to this day probably one of my favorite
It's my
shows.
favorite show. And everyone was dressed up too, which just always makes it funner. And
Yeah.
then they had bands out on the porch
That's hype.
playing, and then
That's
they
hype.
Go ahead. I
I
didn't mean
think
to stop.
I can't remember
Got
what
excited.
time we played because like you go into the house and it's just like a vortex. They had for the Christmas one they built a little igloo in the corner of a room, no signs or anything, and it just said like enter here, and you crawl in and they had a TV about like this big playing Home Alone on repeat.
Classic.
And you just crawl in and
cool.
just
Yeah.
like, watch some Home
There was
Alone. And
all these little nooks of things to look at. It was like going into an art gallery that
Yeah.
was so interactive. The people doing that place like just were just the creative
It's not a thing
geniuses.
anymore.
It's not a thing
No.
anymore. I
Yeah,
think they
yeah.
all kind of moved to different places, and that house notoriously was kind of like a party house. And I think
spot.
there was a little thing after it, but not like Rowdy Dowdy.
anymore.
another entry for my favorite show of all time. Sienna single-handedly put together. We called it Chase Fest at the Chase Park warehouses,
Yeah.
and that like it was a good show. And it was a great turnout. A lot of people came.
Yeah.
But the best part about it was watching the literally like 2 months of every single day. It's like, we got to go get this. We need to go to Walmart and get this. We got to talk to this person's in. Like all the emailing and the organizing and everything that went into that show to have it come to the day of the show and have everything go flawlessly made the very end of the night like, wow, that was so much fun. You did such a good job. And I'm thankful to have helped with the few things that I did. And
Did a lot.
It
It
was
was
a
also
great
right
show.
after COVID too,
It
so
really
it
was
was
special.
like masks up
like
for
Yeah.
the first
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
it was outside, so it was like it was a very kosher thing
Yeah.
for everyone to be spaced out and outside. There was a great turnout.
That's awesome. That's so great. I remember hearing about this. I think I feel like I'd heard the word. Which bands did you guys have?
It was us and Fishbug,
Fishbug.
and Hefner.
Hefner.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, they're
right.
killing it.
The funnest part about that was we had a projection screen behind us. It was on this what do you call it?
You went and bought 10 shower curtains. And we taped all the shower curtains
Yeah,
together
like
and
a green
bought a
screen.
rope and bought a ladder and hung up this giant like the white opaque shower curtain screen
Yeah.
so that we could then put the projector behind it
That's
and
sick.
reverse the image. And
You know those
Maybe
trapeze
forward.
girls that like hang from the bars
Yeah,
and stuff? It was
upside down.
outside on one of their things. So it was this huge space with all of these like bars going up into the ceiling that the girls would like dance on and
Yeah,
stuff. So we
that's
hung the
wild.
shower curtain projector screen from those, and they were all cool with it. Thank you, Canopy. But yeah, because I couldn't, a projector screen that size is like $1 million.
Oh
I
yeah.
was like,
Oh,
all right,
it
we're
was-
getting shower curtains.
I think it was 30 by 20, 30
Yeah.
feet by 20
Wow.
feet.
Huge.
It's huge.
That's a lot of curtains. A lot
Yeah.
of curtains. Yeah. That planning those festivals is not easy. Mad respect on that. The last guest I had on the show, they had planned a festival, and we were talking about the logistics of it. They had like 25 bands. It was for this
Holy
Dog Days
shit.
Music Fest. You see that beer?
Oh,
they
for
had
Dog
beers,
Days.
and it was awesome. And we talked about that. I was like, dude, the logistics on something like that is fucking massive. I was like, shout out you guys. It's cool.
Yeah.
Was that who was that putting that together?
It was just some music business kids at UGA. Jackson Cherrioli and Ava Wagner, or not Wagner, Ava Ziegler, excuse me, and Tatum Smith. They did a great job. Their episode comes out tomorrow. You guys should check it out.
Oh,
It's really
great.
good. It's a
We
good watch.
will.
Yeah, yeah. But I know what you mean. Like planning even fucking 5 bands is like a ridiculous amount of work.
Yeah.
So yeah,
yeah.
putting together a three band bill is work. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
well, good for y'all. Any other shows in particular?
Athfest, excited for that.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
wait.
No, that's good. I'm excited about that too. Are you guys
wait,
Saturday?
any other? We're Friday, but
Okay.
we just
Well,
found out we
technically
got.
Saturday.
Oh yeah, early in the
really
morning.
early Saturday.
Yeah.
We just announced our Screaming Female show. I'm
Oh, yeah.
so excited in New York City with
That's hype.
another band called Shell Shag. I love Screaming Females. I had all of their swag
Yeah.
before, and
swag.
then we got this show, and I was like, oh my god, it's my favorite band.
That's hype.
so-
That's hype. That's full circle.
Yeah.
full circle.
Well, awesome. I'm very happy for you guys. You guys have a great vibe. You got it going on. I've been a fan for a while. I've just been
you.
watching from the curtains. I've been like, they're pretty sick. They're pretty sick. I'm gonna get them on here.
Likewise. Thank
Yeah,
you for
me too.
being such a good person to work with.
Anytime.
you
Yeah,
know,
you gave
amazing.
us on probably my first money show. I don't know if I said that already, but
I'm
I was
so
hyped
glad.
about that. $75. I was like,
Yay!
we made it, you guys. We're rich.
Y'all-
Rich.
Nice.
Sandwiches
earned
on
it.
me. You know, it's a good time. But yeah, thank y'all for
Great.
coming in. Tell the camera,
Thank you
you
so
guys, Instagrams and all that stuff, where to find you guys' music and stuff.
Monsoon Band is Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
and our Spotify. It's Ghost Party Monsoon. You can find it there.
Anything else? Facebook, any YouTube?
But yeah,
any
we've
of
got
that stuff?
Facebook, Monsoon. We have the Twitter. We have a
Yeah.
website, monsoonforever.com.
The
Love that.
Venmo is Monsoon Band.
Under the business tab if you want to send us money.
Yes.
No merch is getting sent back though.
Check
just
us
money.
out on Venmo, guys.
Venmo's in right now. We need to start posting on there.
PayPal.
PayPal. Well, thank y'all so much for
thank
coming
you.
in. Yes,
Thank you for having
We made
us.
it 80 minutes.
Wow.
Wow, look at us go. That's how I know it's a good one. Thanks everybody for listening in.
Thank
This
you.
has been the Jameson on the Rocks podcast. Let's give them a wave so we have a thumbnail. All right, give them a smile.
Hi.
All right, see y'all. Bye.
Thinking system. Got me